You never quite know what kind of surprises you're gonna get in boating. Kind of like when you pull the line up and the next thing you know, you found out you've hooked a twofer. Welcome back, guys. It is your boy Broncos Guru, and it is this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. Of course, the major news this week is going to be the Suez Canal and the cargo ship, the Ever Given. I've actually been blasted in the comments all week because I didn't mention it on Boneheaded Boaters, I didn't mention it on Boating News last week, but that episode was already recorded when this happened. And of course, I figured since everybody in the world had heard about this, unless you lived under a rock in Somalia somewhere, wait a minute, those guys even heard about it too, you already kind of knew what was going on with this situation. And really the only reason I mentioned it in the news this week is because it's finally been freed after them dredging 30,000 cubic meters of sand, 2 super-powered tugs being brought in, and a full moon high tide. The Suez Canal is back to operation. Even though the Ever Given has been refloated, this situation's far from done. It's going to take quite some time to free up this logjam of ships that was awaiting to transit the canal. The one thing we will miss about this situation though, the memes, the sweet memes you guys came up with to describe exactly how this happened or exactly how this situation should be resolved. You guys really were pretty inventive. And there's always those one memes where you finally figure out exactly why this ship did get stuck. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to Australia, where about 56 miles north of Perth, Australia, a fisherman spotted a vessel running wild, circling around out in the ocean unmanned. Rescue teams managed to recover the vessel, which was circling at high speeds, and they towed it into a marina at 2 Rocks. Once they recovered the vessel, they found a small dog on board, but no people, raising concerns that someone fell overboard. After doing a little investigating, authorities learned that the vessel was owned by a 68-year-old man from Perth who had gone fishing earlier that morning and not returned. A search and rescue mission was launched to try and find the owner of the vessel, which was later called off after authorities received a tip that a body had washed up on Yanchep Beach near the incident. This is just a severe reminder, guys, that you always want to wear a safety kill switch lanyard even when you're out in open water, and always make sure you have a life jacket on. Both are even more important when boating by yourself. Speaking of kill switch lanyards, that's the next item to make the boating news this week, as Congress has passed a new law that begins April 1st stating that anybody operating a vessel less than 26 feet with an engine capable of 115 pounds of static thrust at 3 horsepower or more must be wearing the safety kill switch lanyard when operating the vessel at planing speeds or above planing speeds outside of an enclosed cabin. Prior to this law may have been in effect in some local municipalities, but this makes it a federal law now enforceable by the US Coast Guard. Even with this law in place, you are still allowed to operate your vessel without wearing this lanyard when you're in a no-wake zone or you're in a docking situation. This law was brought into place this past year after an abundance of incidents where captains were ejected from the vessel and the vessels wreaking havoc, causing property damage and injuring others. Really, it's kind of hard to believe this was not already a national law though. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to Hawaii, where rescue crews began searching for a boater after a family member told authorities he went fishing in the morning and did not return. Coast Guard and Navy crews set out for a search and rescue mission on Thursday. At approximately 1:30 a.m. Friday morning, the fisherman was found holding a bundle of life jackets almost 26 miles off the coast of Hawaii. Here, this chopper video shows crews pulling the man out of the water. The man was treated for hypothermia but was said to be in good condition. But this does serve as a good reminder to always file a float plan. If this fisherman had not told a family member exactly what he was going to be doing, nobody probably would have alerted the authorities, and this situation would have likely had a completely different outcome. And what episode of Boating News of the Week would be complete without a trip to Florida, where this was the scene in Tampa Bay a few weeks ago, where the operators of 2 vessels had to be rescued from Tampa Bay after their boats collided near the Gandy Bridge. The Tampa Police Department, United States Coast Guard, and Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission all responded to the scene of the crash just north of the Gandy Bridge. Officials said a 19-foot boat and a 24-foot boat each hit each other and they both overturned. Both boaters were ejected into the water. Fortunately for these 2 boaters, there were Good Samaritan vessels in the area who were able to rescue the boaters out of the water before authorities arrived. There was no reported passengers on board the vessel other than the 2 captains, and no serious injuries were immediately reported. The next item to make the boating news this week is one that absolutely blows my mind. This channel is passing 100,000 subscribers. When I started this a few years ago, I just wanted to share my passion of boating out there with everybody, and it's been unbelievable to me that 100,000 people have hit that subscribe button. I want to thank every single one of you guys for hitting that button and following along on this journey. Most people will do some kind of commemorative video for 100,000. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but go ahead and line it up in the comments below. If there's a video you'd like to see me do, let me know, and I may pick one of your guys' videos, and that's what I'll produce as the commemorative video for 100,000. Thanks for watching. If you guys ever see anything crazy happening on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. And as we just mentioned, if you haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button.